Alright guys, we're going to do things a little bit differently today. I'm going to try to condense down all of the replays into one short video and just try to hit the highlights. We don't really need to go through the whole games to get what we need out of this. This is game 1 of Freedonia against Phoenix Rising Amethyst. Freedonia is on the left, and this seems to be the composition they run typically as far as the players go. There was only one of the 4 games they played so far that has been different, and I'll get to that one when we get there. So I'm just going to go ahead and start this off, going a little bit quick. Watch the beginning fight here. One thing to note, because I have watched these already, they actually have pretty solid Anduin and Joanna play together. They do Falling Sword with Light Bomb, and there seems to be pretty good follow-up on CC with it. So down, I mean, he misses some of them, but overall, that combo they have has been really effective, and the Orpheus seems to be getting some good value too in most of the games that I've watched so far. So right now, I mean, they're just kind of brawling. This is pretty standard stuff. One thing you'll notice, neither team has gotten any camps yet. That was the big thing I noticed in this game. They finally just went to get their first camp at 2 minutes, and then they're super late on getting all their other camps against Red. So this was absolutely something that they, in my opinion, made a mistake on, that we could potentially try to capitalize. They were definitely late on the macro game in the beginning of this. Now this was a great kill by the Red team, and you know, they're still fighting. You know, they're fighting 4v5. They're finally now 5v5 again, but they've been fighting this whole time. Everybody's low. They're not going to get anything out of that. So if that's something that they trend, that they do regularly, we can absolutely take advantage of that. You know, bait them into trying to get in on us, and then use what we do to really punish that. So that's something that I think we can try to focus on with it. Otherwise, they are doing a good job of fighting, but they're losing out on a lot of camp. If you notice, they still haven't gotten the camps. The camps are up. Now, obviously, these guys are fighting too, but they've already got one full round of camps, got a kill. Here's the counter kill, which is good for them. They got the double and then secure the objective. But immediately, Red team goes back, and they're getting their camp, and Blue's kind of waffling a little bit. Then, again, they're a little late to the party. You know, their camp was half dead when the other one's already pushed, and now they're already on this camp. They've got it taken. So they're just all game so far, and really the first about half of this game, they're just behind on camps the entire time. We'll go ahead and speed through some of this again. This is just standard defense. Now they're getting the fight in. One thing that I have noticed with them, their macro as far as taking camps and like necessarily pushing isn't always the greatest, but their team fight is really strong. They're very good at womboing. They've got it down where they've got the Thrall, who seems pretty solid. They've got the fight from Anduin with the light bomb, with the heals, the pulls. They've got Joe throwing in, getting in there to really get the value out of the light bomb. And then now that they've set up a solid level lead, because of all the kills that they've got, all the team fights they've won, now they're going and using that lead to get camps. So I think if we can stop them from getting that massive advantage from winning all those team fights, we can kind of negate that and try to out-macro them early and get an advantage that way. As far as this game goes, the game pretty much goes the rest of the way. I mean, you guys can see it's, you know, it's 13 minutes, or sorry, level 13 to level 10. They're up a talent advantage and a significant level lead. Red does some really good stuff to come back here this game, but we're not focusing on them yet. They're not our next opponent. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this replay, and then we'll jump into the next one here. Okay, should be back now. So apparently there's some editing issues I'm going to have. I'll see if I can swim. Alright guys, and this is going to be game 1 of the series of Freedonia against Poseidon. And again, this was actually Freedonia's map pick. They actually got both map picks this time. And so, no surprise, they picked Hanamura again. So let's go ahead and get up to where some of the action is. And this one is very, very similar to the first game, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, other than just kind of talking over some of the action that you guys can watch. And of course, these replays are available on the NGS site if you want to go back through and watch them yourself. These are just kind of the takeaways I got from it and things we should look at. They got Anduin, Thrall, Orphea, and Greymane again. And every single time they got any of those heroes, they did extremely well on them. The problem, I don't know if they have other heroes that have been getting banned. I shared the stats of what all the bans were against them and stuff. So it's definitely something that we'll talk about when we all get on comms. But I know that there's some overlap here in things that we play. If we can pick them before them in some instances, I think it might be beneficial. Just to help limit what they have access to without necessarily having to ban it. Because ban's probably still going to go with Mei, because I know their tank still plays Mei. And then after that, honestly, I'm not sure. I don't know if the Li Ming was available every time and they're picking the Orphea instead. But they've got some solid players for sure. And it's one of those we have to be careful. We can't get cocky going into this match. We have to expect them to perform. They are definitely this game. This was a difference of their Game 1 series against Phoenix Rising. They're actually doing a great job of taking camps. As you can see, they've already taken this once. It's back up. They've got over half the camps on the map. They're setting up good rotations here. And really just kind of, throwing their weight around and dominating these guys pretty good. So, something to watch, for sure. Let's still go through here. They're going back to get camps again. But already, at the 5-minute mark, they have a full level lead. They obviously hit 10s first. And they're going up here trying to get ganks. They keep sending him up here a lot to get ganks, so that's something that you'll want to watch for, Geo. They tend to send somebody up to try to poke at that lane that their offlaner's into. And they don't seem to be afraid to take disadvantageous fights. Again, I think that's going to be where we will shine. Make them come to us, make them think they've got something. I don't know if we can bait it, make them think that they have an even fight when one of us is hiding or what. But I think that's where we win the team fights. We cannot overextend against these guys. I think they're too skilled for us to be able to get away with that, and to get away with some of the stuff that we pull with, fighting a man down when we're waiting for Stormer and things like that. But that was actually a really good fight for Poseidon. Poseidon, I mean, obviously, they lost 3, but they complete wiped blue team. So, go ahead and speed through those death timers, get back up. So that normalized experience, and it's impressive. But again, look at the timer on this. This is another 25-minute match. These guys were fighting a neck-and-neck battle all the way up until the very end, and ended up winning in the late game. And I know that we have struggled against that happening to us in the past. So that's really the takeaway I want to get from this game, is we have to solidify our lead and focus on not making mistakes. Play our game, don't worry about what they're doing, do what we do, take what they give us, and I think we'll be fine. And I'm going to go ahead and stop this replay there. Alright guys, and this was the last game that they have played so far. I believe they're playing their Week 3 match tomorrow. But this is Game 2 against Poseidon. And this was the weird one that they did where they had double healer. And I mentioned this in chat, but what surprised me was that they didn't send Blaze or Tychus off lane. They sent Karazim off lane. Which obviously I know Geo is going to have no worries about trying to go up against a Karazim. But it was odd. Odd enough that I thought it was worth bringing up and mentioning, showing a little bit. Go away, Rocket League. Other than that, though, I mean, these guys, they still did a very good job of playing their game. They win some good team fights. They overextend. They lose some fights. I don't think these guys are bulletproof, even though they're going to be a solid match for us. At this point, I'm not going to be spending a whole lot of time on this match just because it is a lot of the same. And I think we've pretty much gone over everything that is super relevant. Mostly what I'm pulling ahead to is when they actually start having their 5v5 fights with the Karazim added in, to see what that offers, to see if that's something we need to worry about. Also worth mentioning, though, is Tychus here. This is their Korsakov PvE. He is this is the only match that he has played with them so far. It'll be interesting to see if they play with him tomorrow at all. But here we've got Karazim in, but he's coming in when they were already at an advantage. So hard to see if that's really going to get them much value outside of just giving them added sustain. But even with his extra sustain there and the fact that they were fighting a team that was down a tank, they still had to get pushed back off of that objective. So I don't think that this was necessarily a very strong comp. I just think it's something that we need to think about. We need to think about how we can deal if they have the extra healing, and that's going to be things like playing Ana, playing Malfurion with the healing reduction on the root, playing Taunt Variant with Heroic Strike. You know, there's some, even Deckard, and actually taking Emerald to try to help counteract the fact that they might go a double support. I think we just need to keep that in mind as a possibility, because out of 4 games, 2 of them, they've kind of done weird comps. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did at least one of their matches against, or one of their games against us in our match as a weird comp also. But that's really all I wanted to go over on this one. I'm going to see if I can splice all of these videos together. I'm super poor at editing. And then just put this up as one big chunk. So, talk to you later.